Welcome to tonight's little project. It's a 2016 Citroen Berlingo, otherwise known as a Peugeot partner. This shape. Now, customer complaint is the car doesn't start. As you can see, when we get in and we turn the key to the ignition on, we have absolutely nothing on the key at all. But there's a reason for that, and the reason is this: it's a BSI. And it's not fitted into the car, and there's a reason for that. Now, this customer had a faulty BSI which he sent to a quote repair company, and what did they do? They lost his BSI. So what we're going to have to do is fit another one. So we could fit a new BSI. Let's just get this bonnet up here. But that would be very expensive. So what we're going to do it on a budget. So we're going to fit a second-hand BSI. We're going to take this engine ECU out now as well to show you something else. Right, engine ECU is out. Now this is actually a supplied second-hand BSI. Now, we can't fit this BSI straight onto that car and have it work because the immobiliser is going to lock everything out. So what we're going to do, we're going to prepare this BSI. We're going to do two things. One, we are going to set the mileage to 0 on the BSI. Reason for that is the mileage is held on the cluster and in the BSI. And whichever one is the higher value will overwrite the other one. So we can't just fit on a second-hand BSI because this little Berlingo has done 66,000 miles or similar. And that BSI has probably done 150,000 when we checked. So that's set to 0. And we've also got the pin number out, which we're going to come to later. This ECU is an EDC17C10. Now, we're going to do it the quick way for them. We're going to switch the immobiliser off on the ECU, put the second-hand BSI in, and have the mileage set to 0. And we're going to see if it runs. Now, the EDC17C10s can be a bit awkward to do Immo off. You get a lot of problems with them for not switching the economy mode off, electric windows not working, so on and so forth, and power steering not working, and no crank and all things. But we're going to prove to you that ECU connection, we are able to do a really good job of Immo off EDC17C10s. So we're going to get that work done, and we're going to get back to you, fit this all together and see what happens. ECU is back in. So if you have to take these out, they're located underneath this little box here. You have to slide it up, take these 3 ratchet levers off, and out pops your ECU. The BSI is all in. That's not a very nice job, but that is located under here. So that's where the BSI goes in. It's just a case of disconnecting all the multi-plugs and taking it out. Let's see what happens when we go to start it now. Right, straight away we can see, because we set the mileage up to 0 on the BSI, we haven't affected the mileage. We're going to take any one of the 2 keys, which these are the customer's original keys, which, remember, they were for a different BSI, so they shouldn't start the car. But we're going to put it in. We have ignition. We have a radio on. Let's get rid of that. Where's the off button? Why can't they just have a button that says off? Where's the volume knob? Oh, I don't like this technological stuff. Tangled, dusty, or even broken. We'd love to value. That's good enough for me. Right, so let's see if it starts and runs. Unprogrammed key going in, and we have a runner. So, do we have power steering? Yes, we do. So that is with an unprogrammed key starting the car. Now, what we've also done for this customer, we've supplied him his PIN code. So these remote keys, the remotes will not work because remember, they're programmed to a different BSI. This one I've actually taken the guts out of the remote and just put a standard transponder chip in, because sometimes if you don't have a matching key to the BSI, it will run, but you'll get immobiliser faults. So with the supplied pin code, this one is programmed to the vehicle. And we get no errors on the screen for immobiliser, everything's a runner. Engine management light is on, but that's because there's a problem with the turbo. I have scanned it earlier and it was a turbo fault, so we can disregard that. Electric windows all work, so it comes out of economy mode. Last thing to check is let it go into economy mode by switching the ignition on and just leaving it till it hits economy mode, and making sure it clears the economy mode. Just a quick note about what the economy mode is. Just turn that noise off. Right, so these lights aren't flickering like this, by the way. It's just how the camera picks it up, so ignore them. Economy mode is a safety device which is fitted to Peugeots and Citroens, which saves the battery going flat. So if you sit here with the ignition on for long enough, it happens a lot when you're diagnosing a car, when you're scanning it. It goes into economy mode. It shuts down things like electric windows and the stereo and all sorts of things. And some of the Immo off solutions that some people do not clear the economy mode. Ours does. So if you need an Immo off on an EDC17, give us a shout and we can switch your Immo off successfully for you. That's a Peugeot EDC17C10 in actual fact. Last thing to do is we want to give this guy remote keys, because let's say these aren't working, these aren't remote keys. So I've got one on order. We'll pop back later on and we'll see if we can get a remote key into it. Right, so once a second-hand BSI has been installed, it's not configured for this car. So although we've got the engine running with the immobiliser off ECU, there's a few stages we've got to go through. We've got to configure the BSI to be actually for this vehicle. One of the things that you're going to have to do is change the number, change the VIN number, that's the chassis number, on the BSI. The reason is the stereo, which is here, has got the chassis number logged into it as well, and all you're going to get is a constant beeping. So with the Think Tool Max, we are going to go into configuration, and we're going to see the VIN here, and we can change the VIN. I've already done it because we were working on the car before I thought about doing the video. So now you can see when we turn the stereo on, turn it up.
Aperture atoll protected. I never knew I'd be so good at engineering.
There we go.
I never thought
we have no beeping.
There's something that
the other things that we need to go through is all the configurations, tailoring it to how you want. So there's all sorts of things. You've got to set the windows up to be electric windows, and etc, etc. Maintenance intervals. They'll probably be set exactly the same. ECUs present, we need to check those, make sure that all of the engine ECUs are there for this particular car. They should have been the same because it was off the same vehicle, but there's lots to go through. You can do it all with this tool. We'd normally use dealer tool, but we've sort of moved over to this for as much as possible, just for the convenience of it. So these are all checked and set. There's lots and lots of different configurations that you have to go through. Far too many to list, but if you're doing this job, if you have a tool like this, it's just time consuming, but you've got to go through it. If you try to put one of these and it's off a van, and you put it off a car which has got a rear wiper, it won't work, and things like that. So you just go through all of these, checking, making sure that they're all configured correctly, and with that all correctly, everything should be good. Right, let's get back to doing what I was doing. Okay, I'm back. It's been 20 minutes or so with the ignition on. Economy mode has now cut in. So as you can see, when I turn the ignition on now, we have no stereo. Well, it'll prove me wrong now, won't it? It'll go into economy mode. Will it say that? Going into economy mode. Right. So now it's in economy mode. Electric windows. No worky. So nothing on the electrics is going to work. Wipers. None of this is working. I think the indicators, no indicators, nothing like that. So the ultimate test of an Immo off ECU is whether it clears economy mode. So let's start it up. you apparently have things working. Electric windows. We have electric windows, indicators, wipers. Economy mode test passed. Okay, a couple of days have gone by. The key has come in. I've cut it. I've checked it, and it works in the lock. So now what we're going to do to finish the job off, we're going to put a remote key in. Customers' original keys weren't up to much. This one was. Well, we're going to throw that one away because it's just not worth trying to save. The other remote key, we've put a transponder in and programmed it. Although they do start without the transponder being programmed, the remote control doesn't work. So we're now going to put that in, and we're going to use favourite tool at the moment, the old Think Tool Max. We're going to go in maintenance. We're going to go in Immo. I'm going to need to put the ignition on with one of these, I think, to actually do it properly. Then we're going to find and select Peugeot. Switch on the ignition is on. It's found the VIN, that's correct. Immobilizer stroke keys programming. Making sure everything's correct. Select auto scan. Everything is correct. Right. We're going to do programming of keys. It's going to ask us for the pin code, which we've extracted out of the BSI already, 6UH5. So we're going to enter that. You have to do it again. Double checking. Okay. Tells us it's the correct code. This time we want to put 2 keys in. I put one in before, then we have to follow the on-screen guide. Switch off the ignition. Ignition is off. 15 seconds to turn it on, so we're going to put the same key in that we've already done. That's programmed. Switch off and remove the key. So we're going to take that one out, press OK. Next key in the ignition. This time we're going to put our new unprogrammed remote key in and turn the ignition on and OK it. Switch off the ignition. OK. 15 seconds to turn it on. Key programmed, switch off and remove the key. Okay, it now gives us a total 2 keys are now programmed. Hopefully the remote will work. We'll OK that. Gives us a warning. I'll say OK. End of the key programming procedure. So, as we know, the remote key worked anyway, but we're going to just put it in and start it up. And now, what we really want, moment of truth time, is does the remote work? If you need to replace a BSI or an ECU on a vehicle, simply click on to ecuconnection.co.uk, where you will find thousands of control modules for sale and all kinds of programming solutions, including immobilizer deletes and cloning services for ECUs, body control modules and many other vehicle components. Simply select the component or the service that you need and add it to the basket, then pay via our secure payment system. We use a fully tracked courier service throughout Europe and the UK, and your items will be delivered in just a few days. And as you can see, here's the remote, and if you have a listen, we have a lock. We now have an unlock. We have boot unlock. We have a fully working remote key. So, I think we're ready to sign this one off. All we've got to do now is final scanning and checking if any fault codes are on. I have noticed there's, start it up, you have one little warning triangle there. Engine management light is on, it's got a turbo fault, which I'm going to scan through these and see if we can get rid of them before the customer gets the car back. But as for now, we're all done. success. Another repair done at ECU Connection. Thanks for watching. If you need anything, come and give us a shout. Look us up online, ecuconnection.co.uk. If you're ever in a situation where somebody's lost your BSI or lost your ECU, we can help you out. Give us a call with your query. Thanks very much. Bye bye.